by polynomials. The division will be saved for a later date, which will be the next class you have. We're only going to do one of the addition examples. Which one do you want to do, A or B? B. B is fine. The idea here is focus on combining like terms and putting it in STD form, standard form. In standard form, the highest exponent comes first. All right, so I see a 3y cubed. Are there any other cubes? No, just drop it down. I'm going to throw it away so I don't look at it again. I see some y squareds. I have a negative 2y squared plus a negative 4y squared, which is negative 6y squared. Throw it away. I also see a negative 7y plus a positive 2y. Negative 5y. And then there's that lonely negative 5. And it's done. We teach this with horizontal addition subtraction. Most people don't even realize that you can also do it vertically. I don't know if it's good for some kids or not. You just have to include like placeholders. Like the first guy didn't have a constant with it. So you just put a placeholder there. The second guy doesn't have any y cubed, so just make sure you line things up. Some kids do better with vertical addition and subtraction than they do that way. But could it be done like that? Of course it could. If you don't like horizontal addition and subtraction, please get off your phone, do vertical. I will actually never assess over adding polynomials. I will assess over subtracting. The subtraction is harder than addition. Isn't it? Even with little numbers, isn't it harder to take away than to add? It is, even when the numbers are little. What a kid should do is they should distribute their negative. If you distribute a negative, what's it do to signs? Flips them, changes them. It doesn't take long to distribute a negative. Most kids won't even write everything down. That's where the mistakes are made. But instead of a positive 8x cubed, negative. Instead of a negative x squared, positive. Instead of a negative 5x, positive. Instead of a positive 1, negative. And I've done this for a long time. What you see when they grade things is kids don't show that step. And it's missed. Do it all up here and it's missed. Happens all the time. Just take 10 seconds of your life and rewrite the thing. Like terms, you got a 3x cubed and a negative 8x cubed. What do you have? Negative 5x cubed. All day long. I like to throw things away so you don't see them. Just one less thing to look at. Moving on to x squared, you got a 2x squared and a single x squared, 3x squared. You got a negative x and a plus 5x, plus 4x. You got a 7 and a negative 1, 6. And you guys can do the try. One of the better classes, I suspect all of you always get it right. Except Amos. I'm just messing with you guys. That's my way of having fun. I'm the only one who has fun in my room. Alex, did you do that? That was right. So close. 5 months. 4 is not.
Oh.
We got left to Kaylee. Did Aniston get it?
Yeah, that's something we definitely do this night first. Yeah, no, have we learned these?
Of course you've learned it.
Oh, yeah, because I found some gifts.
This is not algebra 2. This is algebra 1.
Oh,
Some of you learned in 8th grade because you have a very ambitious 8th grade teacher.
I didn't learn it from.
I mean, she taught you interval form. She should not teach to an 8th grader unless they're special. All right, let's see, Nathan, getting on heavy here. And you have, everybody good, sweet. Moving on.
First one.
Even Aniston got it. This is multiplying polynomials, all right? Which is also not an algebra 2 standard, it's an algebra 1 standard. What property you're going to use to multiply negative 2y squared plus 3y minus 6 times y minus 2? The distributive property. You're going to do it 3 times. If you work left to right, you're going to do it 3 times. If you work right to left, you're going to do it twice. Most people work left to right, so that's how I'll do it. You just distribute the negative 2y squared in. What's a negative 2y squared times a y? Negative 2y cubed. How about a negative 2y squared times negative 2? Not negative. It's positive. We multiply negative by negative, we're always positive. Now, are we done with the negative 2y squared piece? Does it need to be multiplied by anything else? No, we're done with it. Okay? I'm going to throw it away, and I'm going to erase my arrows. Before I actually finish this problem, there's something I want to talk about. You are taking something with 3 pieces and multiplying it by something with 2 pieces. How many pieces do you expect to have? You're taking something with 3 pieces, and you expect to have 6 pieces, right?
Unless you multiply that.
Unless you, well, either way, you need 6 pieces. Something with 3 times something with 2 is going to have 6 pieces before you combine like terms. Remember that. You're going to have 6 pieces. Because some of y'all, you get out of order. You don't do it the way it's modeled. You do your own thing. Anyways, I'm moving on to the 3y. It's going to get distributed. What's 3y times y? What's 3y times negative 2?
Negative 6y.
And now I'm done with 3y, so guess what I'm going to move on to?
Work it out.
I'm going to move on to the negative 6. Negative 6 times y, negative 6y, that's right. That's 12. And combine legs. STD form, what's going to be first? Cube. By the way, if you count them, there's 6 pieces. All right? When you condense, put it in standard form, it won't be. 4 and 3 makes 7. Negative 6 and negative 6 is negative 12. And plus 12. Oh yeah, I want to take a small break here. This is mainly aimed at Cadence. Because she is the procrastinator. When I updated this yesterday, I had 97 minutes in on your homework. I posted another 17-minute video today, which puts me at 114 minutes. And I'm still not done. Do not wait until the day before it's due. You guys understand that? You won't get it done. Even if all you're doing is cheating off me, you're still sitting over almost 2 hours of work, and I'm only half done.
That's me last time.
That's good, but I know you're a procrastinator. I know you're plenty smart, and that's why you're a procrastinator. Most smart people are. You have to learn how to be smart and not a procrastinator. Anyways, if you're going to do that homework packet, don't procrastinate. It won't be due until at least the week after Thanksgiving. So you got all Thanksgiving break to do it. Don't procrastinate, though. And by all means, try and figure it out yourself, right?
I actually started.
Good. You're supposed to try and figure stuff out on your own. All right, you guys have a you try to do. Is son of math teacher already done? And daughter of math teacher. What do they teach you? You guys should have talked to math teacher. I think that's right. It is. You got one right too. Oh, okay. No, I'm saying it's easy when you don't have to think. You're not wrong. This isn't a word problem. You have to worry about things like a vertex or something. I guess, thank You're gonna take a benchmark tomorrow, right? Speaking of that, you guys have benchmarks tomorrow, but I had mentioned you can bring a laptop tomorrow. After you take your basic schools, you have benchmark. Start taking your benchmark. Did you match cadence?
First 10.
Huh?
Yeah. Like, yeah, we do like 3 weeks.
When are you gonna update the homework that I turned in student view? Because it says I have 40 in here and I don't like that.
Leave it
You
at
know where all
40.
my spare time is going right now?
No.
That video,
Oh, yeah.
All my spare time is going to mention that.
8 questions took you 17 minutes.
You
gotta explain it in a way that we can figure it out.
That's the way you have a chance. That's the way you can figure it out. Way you have a chance. I didn't see anybody miss that one. How did you figure yours out? What was yours?
I did it a positive thing.
What was it? It was 3x cubed minus 14x squared plus 22x minus 21. That what you matched up with, huh?
No, third. Like, X is third in
Yeah, I said that and I didn't write it, did I? 3x cubed. Okay, good. All right, word problem. It's not that bad. It says the dimensions of a rectangular prism are the length is x minus 5, width is x plus 1, and height is 2x plus 3. Write an expression in standard form for the volume of the prism. That's the first part. Then solve for x. Let's start with the first part. So since 7th or 8th grade, you've known the formula for volume of the prism. If you didn't know it then, you've memorized it by now. How do you find the volume of a prism? AKA a box. Length times width times height. Do I have it as prism on your form quiz, or does it say box? Rectangular prism. I think last year's group was so dumb I just wrote box.
Well, there's another one that says a square.
Well, that's how you find it, it's square. That's squared. That's why it's called, guess what? Square.
Oh, yeah. You're saying box, not a square.
No. Box and square are two different things. Boxes are made of rectangles. Anyways. What can you replace your length with?
X minus
How about your width?
1.
X plus 1. How about your height?
2x plus 3.
Is that in standard form? What might you call that form? It's a form, for sure. What might you call it? You might consider it a factor form. Doesn't it look like a bunch of factors? You might call it a factor form. That's what you call it. Being. It's definitely not in standard form. So how do you put that in standard form? Something I see a lot of kids do is they'll do x times 2x, and they'll do -5 times 1 times 3. Do you think that's ever going to be right?
No.
No. There's no one easy way to do this. This is a multi-step process. So, what do you got, Mark?
Multiply x minus 5 by x.
That's a good place to start. Do things you've been taught. Every one of you has been taught how to FOIL. I'm just putting those brackets there to put my emphasis on, that's what I'm doing first. I'm gonna focus on x plus 5, x minus 5, and x plus 1. What would Jesus do with x minus 5 and x plus 1? He'd boil it. Yeah, you guys never had that meeting, did you? It's supposed to be in your notes, but it got pulled out for some reason. I don't know why I pulled that out, but Jesus would boil this. If you boiled it, before you combine like terms, you have x squared plus an x minus a 5x minus a 5. Of course, granted, he's the Son of God. The Son of God would say, answer yourself. That's what would happen, right?
So then you would just, after that, you just do it again on your try.
After you combine like terms, yeah. Combine like terms, x squared minus 4x minus 5. And 2x plus 3. Why don't you guys go ahead and get a head start on that, and we'll see if we match. Well, a few days I don't have to run at a fast pace. That's why I don't have any fun here, by the way. I have too much to do.
And we're still behind.
So, if you ever grow up in beach algebra 2, you'll understand that. So the only fun you have is my sense of humor. My sense of humor is outstanding, thank you, young lady. I think it is. That was quick. Did you take your medicine today? Oh, that explains it. What'd you guys come up with?
2x cubed plus 15x minus 3x minus 15.
2x cubed plus what?
I didn't get it.
I didn't
Oh,
get
I
it.
didn't get that either.
I got minus 5x.
I'm almost certain it's the minus.
I probably did that.
I got 2x cubed minus 5x squared minus 22x minus 15.
That sounds right.
Okay.
So how many of you guys didn't get 2x cubed minus?
Probably just.
I don't mind going over it. It's okay. It's only I don't have time to do it. I do. There's a 2x cubed plus a 3x squared. It's easy to make sign mistakes. Minus an 8x squared. That's probably where your mistake was. Minus a 12x. Minus a 10x. And then minus a 15. So there's a 2x cubed. 3 minus 8 is negative 5. Sometimes kids forget to write the exponents down and they add the wrong thing. Did you ever have that happen to you? Happens to me. If you get to write an exponent, you put the wrong things together. Minus 22x minus 15. That's what it should look like. That's standard form. Do not be surprised if you get asked something like that. Do not be surprised if you ever get asked something like that, whether it be ACT or EOC. We're not done with this thing, kids. If you can read, it says if the volume is known, solve for x.
Move to 15.
Huh?
Move to 15.
Why would I move to 15?
We can pull.
Mm-mm.
No.
What's the volume known to be?
Well,
105. Volume is known to be 105. I've been meaning this, I created this problem this morning with technology. I've been meaning to sit down and see if it could be done by hand. If it could be done by hand. And I have not had a chance to do it yet. If you're going to do this by hand, you would actually subtract 105 from both sides. So that equals 0. But I haven't had a chance to sit down and see how it works, so I'm not going to. I'm going to do that with you all. I'm not doing it during my lunch break. Anyways, yeah, everybody got the A4?
You have a breakfast?
Huh?
You have a breakfast?
Got 2 of them. One of them is a nuclear physicist, and the other one is
Does he live here?
you're a physicist.
And even James last night checking out, there was a man, and literally, like, I thought it was
The
you.
only two people that are blood relationship to me in the entire state of Tennessee are my son.
Oh, this man, like, was your height, like,
You might
looked
look
just
like me,
like
but the
you.
only two people in the entire great state of Tennessee that are blood relations are my boys.
Did you not grow up here?
I grew up here, my family came from Minnesota, and I was born here. Anyways, the reason I asked you guys to get your TI 4s out is because you're learning that you can solve stuff with a graph. Where can you put 105? Hit the y equals button, maybe that'll jumpstart your memory. It's the first time we've solved a graph in here. Where can you put 105? Y1. Where can you put the equation? Y2. The reason you're able to solve with graphs is because solutions happen when graphs do what? Intersect. Okay? And generally speaking, that's how we do things. Whatever's on the left is Y1, whatever's on the right is Y2. Everybody was here yesterday, right? So everybody knows how to raise things in exponential space. Don't be that kid who leaves it up in exponential space and keeps typing. I can't help you when you do that on the other course test. It's like watching this whole problem. It hurts to kick some type of balls. Don't be that kid. Anybody need any more time? After you do this, what have you been trying to do? Do a zoom, zoom what? 6. Because you don't know who's had your calculator before, you don't know what they've graphed. So go back to default. Zoom 6. You're not going to see much. What did you put in Y1? 105. Do you know what Y equals 105 looks like? Because you should. What's Y equals 105 look like? A horizontal line, 105 units in the sky. That's what it is. 7th grade math standards. To see that Y equals 105, you're going to have to look what? Up, down, left, right, up. So I hit the window key. What has to be adjusted? The Y max. You're going to want to look more than 105 units. 200 is a little excessive. 115, 120, something like that. 200 is a bit on the excessive side there. I'll go 150 if it makes you happy.
No.
What are you guys settling on? Because we all need to be the same.
115.
115, sounds good to me. 115, so everybody make sure you got 115, so we all look the same. So we all conform. Hit graph. Oh yeah. Everybody see what I see? By the way, that was a x cubed function, wasn't it? 2x cubed, notice how it's starting low, finishing high? Wasn't that yesterday's lesson? Now, the middle was kind of interesting. We care about this, where they intersect. That's the idea, intersection. You hit second trace, what function are you going to use? Intersect. You're looking for an intersection, use the intersection feature. And all you got to do is get your cursor somewhere in the ballpark. And that's where I'm going to put mine. Believe it or not, it's not that close, is it? But it's the only intersection up there. Press enter 3 times. You don't have to get it close. If there's just one intersection, you can just press enter and enter.
What that one? Or is that one?
That's why 2.
What X equals 6.
X is 6. You can solve anything with a graphing calculator. Anything real. You cannot find imaginary solutions with graphing calculator. You can find every real solution.
That was the first time I actually followed along and tried to.
You should.
I've always been lost.
It's not that hard. You just go at the same pace I do. Tell that squirrel in your head to slow down. Pay attention. All right, last one for today. is revenue from selling widgets. Just kind of a boring example, but I can't say like the revenue from selling weed. Can't have that in public high school, can we? Revenue from selling widgets can be modeled by the function revenue as a function of x is 3x squared plus 42x minus 40. The cost of producing these widgets is given by the function cost as a function of x is 2x squared plus 60x plus 10. Part 1 is to find the profit function, p of x. So imagine you have a lemonade stand and you sell lemonade for 50 cents a cup, but it costs you 30 cents to make the cup. What's your profit? 20 cents. So how do you find profit? You subtract. Profit is revenue minus cost. Everybody understands that until you introduce x's. The profit is revenue minus cost. So my profit function p of x would be found by taking 1 away from r of x. C of x. Profit as a function of x is revenue as a function of x, take away cost as a function of x. And then just substitute in and see what you get. Revenue function is 3x squared plus 42x minus 40. We're going to take away 2x squared plus 60x plus 10. And I have knowingly made a mistake as I wrote this. I didn't wrap. A lot of kids write stuff like this and they're wrong all the time. They just throw a subtraction symbol and they don't even understand why they're wrong. You gotta take away a little bit more than 2x squared, don't you? Last I checked, you did. All right, clean it up. You got a 3x squared, take away a 2x squared, that's an x squared. How about 42x, take away 60x?
Negative 18.
Negative 18x. And then you got a negative 40, take away 10. Negative 50. Part 2 is to find the minimum profit. We're going to do this by hand first. Then we'll use a TI-84 to do it. If you were to graph x squared minus 18x minus 50, what would it look like? A parabola. We're supposed to know that by heart. Okay? It looks like a parabola. The minimum happens where on that parabola? At the vertex. By hand, how do you figure out the vertex? Opposite b over 2a. By hand, the x value is opposite b over 2a. Why are we pushing buttons? Not either. What's opposite b going to be? 18 over twice a. What's a? 1. Should be 9. The selling of 9 widgets is where you make the least amount of profit. Now, that's when it happens. How do you find out what it is? Plug it in. Plug it in. Evaluate your profit for 9 widgets. 9 squared minus 18 nines minus 50. Oh, no. This is not calculator stuff.
What is that, like the R of X minus, why is it like the C with the C and X and everything?
It's not. C of x. 9 squared. 81. Take away, what's 10 times 9? 90, 8 times 9. 90 and 72. 162. Take away 50. 81, take away 162 is negative 81. Take 81 and 50 and put them together, you get 131, and we're both negative. Negative 131. You guys are in possession of the most advanced supercomputer in existence, and you just don't want to use it. It's your brain, by the way. You want to use something lesser, because it's easier, right? Negative 131. So if you sell 9 widgets, how much money did you make? Didn't make anything. You lost money, didn't you? You can have to sell more than 9 widgets to make any money. All right, part 3 is determine how many widgets must be sold to actually profit. You actually profit when your profit is above what number? 0. We're not going to do this one by hand mainly because we probably don't have time. Writing down following problems. X squared minus 18x minus 50 should be more than 0. The other reason we're not going to do this by hand is because the number is ugly. We'd have to do quadratic formula, which isn't a problem. Could you do the quadratic formula with that? You don't know if you could or not, do you? Quadratic formula is on your basics quiz tomorrow, isn't it? For those of you that have looked at it, you're nodding yes. For those of you that haven't, you have no idea. Make sure you know how to do the quadratic formula tomorrow. You've got a TI-84 in front of you, which is very powerful. In this case, I would go ahead and throw this. Let's actually look at what we've done. We have the equation already in here. We don't do it. I never went back into this calculator, did I? I'm sorry. I jumped ahead. Let's go back. Step 2. You can do this in TI-84 as well. Clear it out. Put your equation into Y1. You don't need anything in Y2 for part 2. X squared minus 18x minus 50. I would not reuse the window we just used, because it was tailored for a specific problem, wasn't it? It's Zoom 6. And you see part of the parabola. You see from your vantage point, what, the left tail? How do you think you need to look? I completely got that backwards from your point of view. It's the right tail. It's left. How do you need to look? See all of it. Down and right. Go to window. How do you look down? Take a guess. How do you look down? Why I'm in. How far down you want to look? 75? Good. You can also look at the work we've already done. This thing bottoms out where? Negative 131.
So like 140.
Yeah, something like negative 140. And before we look right, just see what you've got. Okay? So just look down 140 units, see what you've got. And then maybe you can start looking the other direction as well. I would actually like to see the full parabola, at least most of it. It looks to me like it bottomed out. It looks to me like it's starting to rise. To see a better picture, I'm going to want to look right. All right? How do you look right? X max. Now, if you look at what's on your screen, 10 already did about half the job, didn't it? What do you want to set your X max to? 20. 20 will do all of it. If 10 got half of it, 20 will get the whole thing. So X max to 20, get that graph key. And again, we're going to go ahead and do part 2 again over. Part 2 is find the minimum profit. By the way, that vertex happens to be a minimum, doesn't it? You hit second trace, you'll see something in there. What might find a minimum under second trace? Minimum. Don't be that kid who after 3 months doesn't figure this out. Second trace minimum. Minimum works like maximum. You get a left bound, you press enter. You get a right bound, you press enter. You press enter for a guess. Don't get all enter happy. Don't be that kid either. So get your cursor left, press enter. Then I want you to get right. So get right and press enter. Really doesn't matter how close you get. Just get to the right and press enter. Enter for a guess. And something needs to be talked about here. We already know the answer is 9. How many of your calculators actually say 9? Does anybody's calculator actually say 9?
Mine's over.
Yours is over 9?
Mine.
A little bit?
Yeah, I don't have to.
Are a lot of y'all's over a little bit? 9 point something? Are a lot of y'all's under? 8 point something. Look at it. This is a rounding error. It's 9. Don't be surprised by that, okay? Do not be surprised by things like that when using the graphing intersection feature or things like that, the max and mins. That's 9. Just accept it as what it is. It's 9, which we already knew. It always gets the y value correct though, negative 131. By the way, this is how you do problems like this when you can't remember opposite b over 2a. You have to remember something more, right? All right. Now, back to this one down here. Determine how many widgets must be sold to actually profit. We already have this guy in Y1, so where can we put the 0?
Y2.
Y2. Back to Y equals. Y2 is going to be a 0. I'm going to hit graph. I actually think we should have gone a little bit past 20 units. You guys, most of you have the color edition software, color edition calculators. If you got black like I do, you can't see the actual line being drawn, but you have to just accept the faith that it's there. You're going to have to accept the faith that it's there, okay? We are going to have to look a little bit more to the right to see the intersection. So back to window, X max would be what? 25 is good. Graph. And now you guys with color edition see the intersection between your blue parabola and your red line. Right. Solutions happen where graphs intersect. We've already been over that. So second, trace what? Intersect. By the way, there's 2 intersections up there. There's this left intersection over there. On the left intersection, you are literally selling negative widgets. That's where people give you stuff. Does that make any sense in the context of the problem? No, that's the extraneous answer. You want the real answer, which is on the right. So you take your cursor and you get closer to that intersection than the other one. That's the deal. Closer to the right one than the left one. And once you're closer to the right intersection than the left one, how many times do you press enter? 3. Notice I'm not even that close, am I? All that matters is you're closer. Enter, enter, enter. 20.44 widgets. I don't even know what a widget is, much less what 20 and 4400 of a widget is. What do you want to call it? 21. You sell 21 widgets or more, you're going to make a profit. So even though this started off with a greater than symbol, it's actually because of the way we're answering it. Greater than equal to 21. Because 21 would be profitable, wouldn't it? If 20.44 was profitable, wouldn't 21 definitely be profitable? So actually change the notation there to be greater than or equal to. Anyways, that's your notes. Sorry it wasn't a whole lot of fun.
Figured out that even calculators.
That's good. Calculator's gonna be your best friend. It will on test days. Won't be on basic days. On test days, it's huge.